Hi, this is Clemens, and I would like to talk to you about personality type compatibility and whether, like, the compatibility that is out there very often that you can research on the internet is actually not quite accurate because it's missing one crucial element. That element is whether you're a man or a woman. So, as an example, I see very well working ENFJ men with INFP women in a relationship, or INTJ men with ENFP women in a relationship, which would be like the ideal match. And I've seen examples of this in my personal environment. But the other way around, it seems to be a bit more tricky. I don't know that many couples that are INFP men and ENFJ women, or ENFP men and INTJ women. So this got me thinking a bit, and I kind of thought about something that is not like a big secret, or I don't know, anybody would challenge me that. It's just like making that connection, what I'm curious about, if that works or whether you guys agree or not. So essentially what you see here is the four letters and ordered by dominance, right? You could argue that extroversion is more dominant than introversion, sensing is more dominant than intuition, thinking is more dominant than feeling, and judging is more dominant than perceiving in any kind of interaction, or in most interactions really. So the question now is, like, basically based on society or biology, I don't know what it is, but often women prefer the man to be the more dominant one or the leader one. So this is like a personality or like relationship structure that we see very common in society. One could argue that that is traditional, but my experience is that, you know, like even nowadays, like, women want men to be the leader in a relationship. Now, this gets complicated, of course, when the woman has more dominant letters or more dominant traits than the man. So, for example, with an ENFJ, the woman would have two dominant traits, the E and the J, and the man would have like all the least dominant traits, right? So for that, like, I talked to some women that are ENFJs about men they are attracted to, and said, like, they didn't know so much about personality typology necessarily, but I described to them like an INFP man, and they said, like, actually that wouldn't really work because they need somebody more dominant. Similar with the ENFP, like a man that is an ENFP only has one dominant letter, and an INTJ woman, like as an ideal match, would have two dominant letters, the T and the J. So in that case, from what I've seen, is that a woman that is an INTJ would perceive a man that is an ENFP as overly emotional, or when the man gets excited, as unstable or something like that, whereas a woman that is an ENFP with an INTJ man, you know, like a woman that is getting excited and emotional, that's like the typical woman, right? So one thing I would like to add there is like that, especially with the T and the F, that is like the majority of women, 75% are feelers, and the majority of men, 75%, are thinkers. So so with the ENFP INTJ especially, there could be like a conflict of gender in that sense, right? So to wrap up, I would love to know your opinion, whether you think that this theory makes sense, that actually the man should have relationships tend to, or from a tendency point of view, work better or like are more common when the man has more dominant traits in terms of the letters than the woman. Thank you.